The air hung heavy with the scent of salt and fear, a foreboding presence that seemed to seep into the very soul of the island. Sicily, a land of beauty and brutality, birthed a secret society. This was a place where the harshness of life was matched only by the resilience of its people. This was the Cosa Nostra, our thing, a brotherhood bound by blood and silence. It was a clandestine world where loyalty was paramount and betrayal was met with swift retribution. They came to America, these men of honor and violence, seeking fortune in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty. They carried with them the traditions and codes of their homeland, ready to carve out a new existence. New York City, a teeming cauldron of ambition and desperation, became their proving ground. The city's chaotic energy mirrored their own fierce determination to succeed. The five families rose from the squalor of Little Italy, their power growing with the city's skyline. They built their influence brick by brick as the city itself transformed around them. They brought their traditions, their vendettas, and their ruthless ambition. The old ways of Sicily found new life in the crowded streets of New York. The Black Hand, their calling card, left a trail of fear and blood. It was a symbol of their reach and their willingness to use violence to achieve their ends. They preyed on their own, extorting protection money from terrified shopkeepers. The very people who had sought refuge in America found themselves ensnared in a web of fear. The promise of wealth and power lured young men, eager to escape the poverty of their immigrant lives. They saw the Mafia as a path to respect and prosperity. They rose through the ranks, their loyalty tested in blood, their ambition fueled by greed. Each initiation was a step deeper into a world where trust was rare and danger was constant. And so, the American Mafia took root, a dark mirror image of the American dream. It was a twisted version of success, built on the suffering of others. These men, who had come seeking a better life, built their empire on fear, violence, and the corruption of the American spirit. Their legacy is a stark reminder of the shadows that can lurk behind the promise of opportunity. The Mafia's tentacles spread like a cancer, reaching into every corner of American life, from the bustling city streets to the quiet suburban neighborhoods. They infiltrated labor unions, controlling the docks and construction sites, ensuring that every brick laid and every shipment unloaded was under their watchful eye. Their grip tightened on businesses, both legitimate and illicit, demanding a cut of the profits. No enterprise was too small or too large to escape their reach. The flow of illegal liquor during Prohibition became a river of gold, fueling the Mafia's rise to power. Speakeasies flourished and rum running became a lucrative business. They bribed politicians, judges, and cops, their influence seeping into the very fabric of the justice system. Fear kept people silent, and money kept the wheels of corruption turning. Loyalty ensured their silence remained unbroken. The Code of Omerta was more than a rule. It was a way of life. They ran gambling dens, brothels, and drug rings, their empire built on vice and human misery. Every vice was an opportunity for profit. They preyed on the weak, offering loans with impossible interest rates, turning desperation into a weapon. Families were torn apart by debt and despair. Their violence was swift and brutal, a message written in blood. It was a language everyone understood, a warning to those who might defy them. The Mafia's code of silence, Omerta, protected them from the law. Even in courtrooms, their power was felt, and witnesses often recanted their statements. Those who dared to speak out often met with untimely ends, their deaths a warning to others. Funerals became a grim reminder of the cost of betrayal. The stench of corruption permeated the air, choking the life out of honest enterprise. Small businesses struggled to survive under the weight of Mafia demands. Power corrupts, and the Mafia understood this truth implicitly. They knew that with enough money and influence, they could bend the system to their will. They bought and sold law enforcement officials like commodities, ensuring their criminal enterprises remained untouched. Corruption became a currency, traded in backrooms and dark alleys. Politicians, hungry for power and wealth, turned a blind eye to their activities. They accepted bribes and favors, becoming puppets in the Mafia's grand scheme. The lines between the underworld and the legitimate world blurred. The Mafia's reach extended into every facet of society, making it difficult to distinguish between friend and foe. Judges rendered decisions in their favor, their palms greased with bribes. Justice was no longer blind. It was bought and paid for. Police officers looked the other way, their silence bought with envelopes of cash. The very people sworn to protect the public became protectors of the criminal elite. The system, designed to protect the innocent, had become a shield for the guilty. The Mafia's influence corrupted the very foundation of law and order. The Mafia's influence extended to City Hall, where they manipulated contracts and rigged bids. They controlled who got what, ensuring their interests were always served. They controlled the flow of information, ensuring their secrets remained buried. Journalists who dared to investigate were silenced, their stories never seeing the light of day. The stench of corruption reached the highest levels of government, poisoning the well of democracy. No office was too high, no official too powerful to escape their reach. Fear became a powerful weapon, silencing those who dared to challenge their authority. Witnesses disappeared. Evidence vanished. The Mafia's reign was maintained through terror and intimidation. The Mafia's grip on the levers of power seemed unbreakable, their reign of terror absolute. They operated with impunity, their influence felt in every corner of society.